Welcome to ECG. So, with the eve of the NCAA tournament, I've pulled up College Hoops 2K8, which is probably the best College Hoops game out there. And I've loaded up the bracket as it stands right now. There were a few liberties that I took. For instance, I kind of forced a couple of teams into the bracket just based on the Vegas odds. And I've got UMBC and Prairie View playing in their matchup for the playing game winner against Florida. In this scenario, unfortunately, Cal Baptist fans, Utah Valley State is going to be representing you because you weren't actually in this game from 2008. And Queens fans, sorry, you guys weren't in this game. And so Central Arkansas, the team that you beat in the championship game, will be representing you in this game as well. In this situation with the play-in scenario, there was only one play-in game back in the day, so I could only do so much with that. So I put one team from each of those 16 seeds in there to see who will get the honor of playing Florida as a 16 seed. Sorry, guys. And in this scenario with Tennessee playing a team from a play-in game, I just put Miami of Ohio in there because they were the talk of the town heading into this. And in this scenario with BYU playing another play-in team game, I saw that NC State is just slightly favored over Texas, so I put them as the victor in that game, and that's who BYU will be playing in this. So we will simulate this whole thing out, and we'll see what happens. All right, so after the first round of the NCAA tournament, we have Duke and TCU in the round of 32, St. John's and Kansas, Louisville and Michigan State, UCLA and Connecticut, Arizona and Utah State, Villanova taking a beatdown to Utah State there. High Point took out Wisconsin to move on and face Arkansas in the round of 32. NC State takes out BYU, and Kennesaw State takes out Gonzaga. There's a shocker for the tournament for you. And then Miami and Purdue. Over on the other side of the bracket, you've got Florida and Clemson, Vanderbilt and Nebraska, North Carolina and Illinois, Texas A&M and Houston, Michigan and St. Louis, Texas Tech and Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, and Kentucky and Iowa State. Could you imagine a tournament where Duke is not in the Sweet 16 and gets knocked out by TCU? St. John's takes out Kansas to go to the Sweet 16. Michigan and Connecticut, could see that happening. Could you imagine a tournament and it is a 9-12 matchup in the Sweet 16 because High Point took out Arkansas? That's incredible. That would be an insane Sweet 16 matchup with an opportunity to go to the Elite Eight. You've got NC State taking out Kennesaw State and going to face off against an ACC rival in Miami. The other side of the bracket, Florida and Vanderbilt, an SEC matchup going against it. You've got North Carolina and Texas A&M. And then St. Louis takes out Alabama to punch its ticket to the Elite Eight. And Virginia took down Iowa State. So we're going to simulate this forward one more week and see what our Elite Eight matchups look like here. And St. John's and Connecticut in that Elite Eight matchup for a spot in the Final Four comes down to Connecticut. We have an Elite Eight matchup between Utah State and NC State. Matchup that would be, huh? Vanderbilt and A&M. Down goes Florida, getting spanked by Vanderbilt, 103-59. Wow. St. Louis taking down Alabama, and Virginia beating down Iowa State. So let's see what these Final Four matchups are going to look like here. Utah State will advance to the Final Four. One game here left to go. Let's just simulate this game and see what happens. And St. Louis advances probably on an end of game defensive stopper, buzzer beater. We have a 2-9 versus Connecticut and Utah State, and Vanderbilt and St. Louis. That's incredible. Let's see who makes it to the championship game. Connecticut and Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt gets one last bucket to make the score 62-33. The Huskies will win another national championship. Wells, the small forward, had 13 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 4 steals. What an effort. Some highlights from his performance is he was the Pontiac game changer. And that is one scenario that could happen. I'll be uploading a couple more over the next couple of days before the tournament starts. Stay tuned and keep a watch on ECG.